Hey guys, welcome back to In the Woods with the Capones. So here we are, we're inside the workshop. We're going to get the S140 John Deere up and running for the season. Haven't used it yet since we put it away for storage. It's raining outside, so couldn't ask for a better day than to get a little bit of TLC put into it. We'll do a quick oil change, grease the fittings, give it a once over, check the belts, everything. The machine does not have that many hours on it. It has barely 10 hours on it right now. The manufacturer recommends changing the oil every 50 hours or once a year. For me, I didn't change the oil last year because I barely had 5 hours on it. So I said, okay, I change the oil this year, so we'll do that. But I forgot my oil wrench. It's at my other place, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the oil. It only has 10 hours on it, so when I come up next time, we'll change the filter. Take 2 seconds, spin it off, put it on, and away we go. As much as I would love to say it is due for an oil change because of the yearly factor, there's the oil filter. I'm going to leave that thing there till next week, because I'll change the oil and I'll run new oil through it, and then I'll change the filter. It should be done at the same time, but I'm not going to sweat it. So we got it all set up. I got my jack stand to lift it because I want to get underneath and just have a look at everything else. But it looks like it's in good shape. Parked it. Everything seems good. So we haven't started it. There is zero fuel in the tank. I ran it dry, put some stabilizer in it, and so we'll put some fuel in it and we'll go from there. And we'll check the air filter as well. Perfect. I don't anticipate the air filter being super dirty, but what I'm going to do anyways, I'm just going to take it off, have a look at it, and if it needs to be, I don't think it needs to be anything. Air filter looks mint and clean, but I'm going to blow some air through it just to get it dust off. And we'll do it. Alright, so the air filter, I'll tell you right now, if you hold it up to the light, you can see it perfectly clean on the inside. There's no reason for me to change this right now, but I will check it again in the fall. So we know the air filter is good. So that's one less headache. You look here, this right there is my drain for the oil. So I'm going to remove this panel, which is only one screw, and at least we can drain the oil while we're getting everything else ready. So I'm going to remove the screw here, and this way. Alright, it's not in there tight, and there's the cover. So we remove the cover and the screw. Nice thing is the screw stays in place because there's a little rubber grommet on there. This is my oil change bucket, which I don't anticipate too much oil coming out, but you know. And what I like to do is I like to dust remove this. Now this is, look how clean the oil is. That oil is absolutely, it's a shame to change it, but you know what? It's time. Okay, so I took off the dipstick just to get the air pressure going through, no problem. Now we want to remove this cap, which is just a push in turn, and it should just wiggle out. There we go, and we'll let the oil drain. Perfect. We'll let that come out for a few seconds. And the nice thing about this bucket is everything goes right into it. I'm not making a mess anywhere. So the oil's still draining out a bit, so There's one grease nipple there and another one right on the opposite side. And then underneath on the actual deck itself, there's one on that side and one on the other side. What I'm gonna do, I wanna check. All right, so you can see that there's very little oil coming out anymore. We've drained it. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna wipe it off. There's an O-ring there, make sure the O-ring stays nice and clean. Intact. Perfect. All right, I think that's drained enough. Just a little bit of a trickle coming down. So we're gonna end up putting the cap back on it, locking it in place. Perfect. Now, this is really straightforward. For any of you who have never done an oil change on a small engine, nothing to sweat, nothing to panic, really easy. So we got the plug back in. I got my funnel now. My funnel's gonna go on the top of the neck. And like all my oil changes, I only use synthetic oil. Always have, always will. Very happy with it. So let me get my oil and we'll put some in there. All right. Nice and slow. So I just put roughly about a bottle and a half right now in there. So let's take my dipstick and we'll remove it and we can put a little bit more. Yeah, just a bit more. Okay. All right, let's dip it in. Dip it out. All right. Right in between the two dots. Exactly where I want it. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's where I want it. So I know next weekend I gotta change the filter. So when I drop the filter, I'll top up the oil that has been replaced. That's been lost, so I can replace it with some fresh oil. Not something I normally like to do, but I'll tell you right now, I'm not gonna sweat it. The oil wasn't that bad that came out. Okay, so I said we gotta grease these two front fittings for the steering, two back ones, and then we'll move forward. And we're good to go. All right. Oh yeah. You can see the water and the grease is coming out now. The grease is coming out from the pores, and that's a high synthetic grease. And okay, so if you look, this is the actual shaft that goes to the blade underneath the deck. That's a grease fitting right there, and there's another one on the opposite side. So I gotta put the phone in there so I can show you, but I'll have to remove it. Let me see if I can get in there to grease it while it's there. Probably not, but I'm gonna try anyways. All right, so we greased the front, we greased the deck, we checked and replaced the oil, blew out the air filter. The only thing I have to do is now put in some fresh fuel and we'll try to start it. And hopefully she does like she always does. Fires right up. Okay, let's put some fresh gas and that fuel in there. Alright, so we've done everything. I had to spin it around. This way the exhaust goes outside instead of building up and killing us with carbon monoxide poisoning. Like I said, it is raining outside, so what we're gonna do is we'll put the parking brake on, put the choke on, and keep our fingers crossed and see what ends up happening. Oh, I guess I forgot to hold forgot to hold the choke. Run for a few seconds to warm it up, and just got it down with like the oil level. After sitting all winter, fired up beautiful. One idle. I gotta say, really impressed with that. So, shut it down, let's check the oil levels, and we'll go from there. Now, I wanted to just say one thing. Let me adjust this camera so I can. The fuel filter, I didn't change it. At this point, I really don't think it was necessary. Mileage is very low. The hours we used it. You can tell by the air filter, fuel filter, we run clean fuel. I don't let the fuel stay in there so it doesn't gunk up. And I always add an additive, which helps a lot. So with that being said, let me get a rag and we'll check the oil levels. Okay. Nice clean rag. Take this out. Wipe down. Oh yeah. Perfect, between the two dots. Oh, you can't see it because it's clean, but it's there. So, you know what? I was gonna wait, but I figured this is a good opportunity. So, I forgot to videotape it. I tell you right now, I checked the tire pressures on it with the gauge. They're all at 5%, 5 psi. So they're all good. I looked underneath. I jacked it up. The deck inside is clean. I cleaned it down in the fall before I put it away, so there's no buildup or anything like that. So the machine's ready to go. So what I'm gonna end up doing once it stops raining, I'll give it a run and I'll give it a quick videotape of that. But from In the Woods, thanks for watching. Be good, be safe, always make those right decisions, and we'll catch you next time. Thank you so much. Thumbs up, appreciate it. Take care.